Hey, welcome back to the isolation workshop. Alright, so I talked about doing some gondolas and it seemed to be a pretty lit idea. Whereas my son says, ratchet, Dad, that's a ratchet idea or something like that. Whatever the kids nowadays are saying. Alright, so here's the one I'm going to pick. Like I said, I had a Accurail, and this is according to the box, Accurail. Can you read that? Probably not. Let me see if I can do a little bit here. I'm going handheld here for now, so. Alright, it's our Reading Accurail kit number 3744, an AAR 41-foot steel gondola. Now, I did a little research on this, and this actual gondola, it is actually a Fubi. And the reason I say that is, the Reading had these gondolas. They did not have these AAR gondolas. This should be a USRA gondola. It is labeled correctly. It is numbered correctly. You're probably not going to be able to read it, but it is a class GMK, and the number series that this is in is correct. However, what it really should be, alright, let me just do this here. I'm going to see if, okay, that is a Walthers USRA gondola. That's what it should be. And this car is actually numbered correctly by Walthers for that particular type of car. So I'm going to do both of these, and we're just going to lather them up and get them all nice and weathered and everything like that. So, and the reason I found this out, again, I do like to do a little bit of prototype checking just to see what I'm getting myself into. And I went into the ORER and I looked up the the Reading Railroad, that number series, and GMK. It all made sense. But you do a little bit more research and you find out, yeah, but they were 46 foot, not 41 foot. And you start doing some more research and you find out that, oh, that's a Fubi. Again, it's the number series is correct, the car class is correct, but they are not an AAR gondola. So then I thought, I wonder if I might have a kit of that. And I walk over to my stash of Craftsman kits, and lo and behold, look at that. A Westerfield kit number 8104, USRA Milgon PNR, which is Philadelphia and Reading, class GMK GML. Ha! So I do have an actual, a Westerfield one that is accurate. And then I pulled out what's great about the Westerfield kits, or they have, and you probably might not be able to read this. I'm not going to try to bore you with it, but you're probably bored already. Their instruction sheets are awesome, and the prototypical information that Al Westerfield included is great. It's almost worth the price of the kits. So I did find out, and looking at this, and I can see that, yep, there's that same series there at the top. It's in that same number series, and I learned something else. They had Andrews trucks. Okay, I think I can handle that. So, what I'm going to do, again, so I know I have one Fubi. Oh, and I was also reading on this car up here. Can you see the car number? Well, gee, Rob, zoom in and maybe I can, you knucklehead. Alright, so it's 23035. And it has a fancy little note over here, return to somewhere. I can't read it this far away. Well, again, if you go into the good old Al Westerfield information, and if you read down here, and you can't read it, you don't care, but he talks about all the different cars and all the different variety, and it's really awesome. I mean, this guy's incredible. The information, like I said, is well worth the price of the kit. So I'm going to read this one sentence here. They did some conversions. They did some other stuff to it. Cars 23015 to 23034 were stenciled returned to Annville, PA when empty. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, there was 20 cars were in general service in 1956, and one car, number 23035, does that ring a bell? Was assigned to E.J. Lavino. Okay, so that means this car from Walthers, which is the 23035, imagine that, was assigned to one particular customer. So really that's not a car that I would want on my layout, only because, you know, if you're really worried about that kind of thing, if it's an, oops, sorry about that, if it's in that service, you know, it's probably not going to wind up on my railroad in Eugene, Pennsylvania, you know, blah, 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 whatever. So, but I don't care. But just FYI, this is actually labeled right. It's a GMLB, which is correct. So this car is relatively accurate. I don't know if that's totally accurate, but the point being that it was in a unique car assigned to one customer. So, okay. So what I'm going to do is we're going to work on, I'm not going to show you how to build a kit. You guys can build a kit. I'll build a kit. I do have Accurail Andrews trucks. This set I've already got the Intermountain wheels in. So I'll do a little bit of painting on the springs and whatnot. And I'm going to put, just because it's a little bit more accurate, I'll put Andrews trucks on this one, it comes with Bettendorf. And on this one, now this Walthers one needs some serious work, because it has plastic wheels, whatever those horrible couplers are, so they're going to come off and get Katie's. I'm going to take these trucks off, throw those wheels away, and then use another set of Andrews trucks on that car, which makes it a little bit more accurate. I got them down there somewhere. There they are. There's the Accurail side frames and the Intermountain wheels ready to go in it. So that's what we're going to do. So let me get those worked up, get this kit built, get this one ready with the right wheels and trucks and everything like that, and then we'll continue on with the weathering on these two gondolas. It's going to be fun because this one, you probably can't see it, it's got a wood floor. So I got to think how I'm going to want to do that, because man, I can't imagine what a wood floor in a gondola looks like. Holy moly. That must be a piece of work. Maybe I'll see if I can get some photographs off the internet and see if I can get a good reference for that. That's going to be pretty fun, I think, to do. And I have an idea for this car. Again, another inaccuracy. It's the wrong type of car. It also has a steel floor, when the Reading cars in the GMK class had wooden floors. But anyway, it's got a steel floor. I might show you a different technique to rust that up, just for fun. So, all right, so enough babbling. I've already wasted about 8 minutes. Let's get these built and get them ready for the next step. Alright, so I'm going to try this. This is, what I'm doing is I have my phone set up so I can see what I'm doing. See if I move over here. Now you can see my freaking arm trying to adjust the phone. So I can see, so I can kind of move this around. And I can even zoom in a little bit, but the light isn't good. I'm also trying to record through a mic. I don't know how it's going to sound, but this is just a test to see if this works. Oops, see, I'm going to try to not block what I'm doing. Take these trucks off. I'm not going to use these, but what I'm going to do is again put the hardware back so I don't lose it. Yeah. Take that off. I think it might, is this, I'm not sure if this mic's even working. I'm trying to stick it in my shirt. Kind of use it as a lapel mic. It's just a cheap old mic that I found upstairs. Now I'm going to get rid of these horrible couplers. Whatever these things are. Whatever that thing's called. I don't know. Don't like it. In the garbage. So I'm going to do that side. Oopsie. This side. Then I have my glare-filled handy dandy Katie number 5s. I'm just gonna take one of them little buggers. I just use number 5s. I don't mind. I know a lot of people want to use 58s. That's great. To me, I found that it just isn't that big a deal. I'm taking the coupler here. What I tend to do beforehand. I can't even tell if it's focusing. It's weird. It's like trying to look in a mirror. All I'm going to do is just bring that up a notch. Just a little bit. And this here, same thing. Then take this, and hopefully, of course, it's going to fall out. So what I'm going to do, get the hardware. It's the best way to do this. And take this, there, put the pocket back on it. You can't see because my hands are in the way, but this is not really all that bizarre. Hey, it works. Same thing here. Pocket and the, oops, hardware. This here. And so I'm just, just holding that in so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And this is just whatever couplers you like. I just like to get them on before I paint. Of course, now I lost the hardware. Come on, you little bugger. Come on, you. Pardon my hand. I know you can't see, but I gotta. And I have the cover on the wrong way. Turn it around this way. Okay, so that gets the... Now we'll check the height, of course, when we get the... See, I can try to move this light down. This LED light just isn't bright enough. But, that's that, and that's good for now. So, the next thing we would do... Put those away. And this car is ready to go out and be painted once, and like I said, the trucks. What I'll do on the trucks, and I don't know if you'll be able to see if I do this here. Let me see if I can. Oh, look at that. So what I'm going to do on these two, these are the Andrews trucks. Again, they're going to go in this car. I'm going to take my palette. I'm going to take some Panzer. Come on, focus you. Now I want to focus. Anyway, alright, it's Panzer Aces. Now, of course, now it's a Clary 302. Dark Rust. This is what I like to use. A quick shake. A little bit here on my grungy old palette. Find a brush, get some water. See, all I do is take some water. And of course, you can't see what I'm doing, and I'm just gonna thin it out here a little bit. Okay, and I take that. I'll come in here. Of course, I can't hold this the right way because it's like I'm looking in a mirror. Come on, you, why don't you focus? I can't get my... Oh, this is a failure of biblical proportions. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. You get the idea. It's not perfect. All I'm doing is just painting the springs. A little bit of that rust, and of course you can't see because it's not even focusing. Oh, is it focused there? Same thing on this truck. Dip it in the... Well... bit of rust. Now again, if you wanted to do the rest of it, if you didn't like the way the color looked, I might just thin this down even more. Like I said, you can take some of this rust color and just kind of bring it on here as a wash. Water, make even more of a wash. This is up to you, how you like your trucks to look. That's good enough. Again, it's kind of subtle, and the light's not very good here. Of course, now I'm out of focus again. Come on. There. Go down there a little bit. A little more water. Again, there's not much there at all. This is really, really kind of light. You probably can't even tell. The light's not good. Okay. So the trucks are done, and now, watch this. If I touch this thing here, hey, it does zoom back. So again, here's the palette. Here's the little bit of the rust. I might as well do this other one since I have these other side frames out. I'll do the same thing. Since I have them out, hit the springs. I'm not going to worry about the painting the side frames just because I'm not. Okay, that gives you a little bit of a subtle variety. And like I said, you can also come in and hit the brake shoes if you want. Just for something different. I'm not too worried about it. But I'll do it here just to see if it shows up. I don't know if I can... It's going way down here. Come on, you bugger. Trying to get the focus. Okay. Just to show what that looks like. So now, let those dry up. Clean off the brush. Now I gotta figure out again what I'm gonna do on the interior. This is a wood floor. I might start off just hitting the whole car like I normally do with some of the Panzer gray, the German field gray, some of the khaki, just to kind of weather it a little bit. Again, there's a lot of real good techniques. I've been doing some looking on the internet to really get this weathered up looking real, real nice. But again, the goal here is not to spend a whole lot of time. Yeah, there's a lot you can do. Spend a lot of time on it. We're trying to do something relatively quickly. So that car is pretty much ready. So I'm going to go ahead and work on this car and then show you what I'm going to do on the Accurail car. Alrighty, here's the Accurail car finished up. Pretty easy to build. It's got KD number 5s on it. Like I said, it went together. These go together pretty nicely. So that's the car. Interior. I got a little bit of glue on the inside, but you know it's not really going to matter. Can you see the stain there in the back? Because I actually kind of went around and glued the floor in on top of the weight. And to be honest, I wasn't too careful. Okay. That is it. So now we're going to take the Accurail Reading Fubi and the Walthers. Again, it's got its number 5s on it. A little bit closer to prototypical, but now we're going to take them out and we're going to give them the weathering paint scheme out in the high-tech on top of the recycling can paint booth. Alright, let's go out the garage, have some fun. Alright, again, out in the garage. I'm not sure how well this will show up. It's I had to crank the ISO again. But what we're going to do is see the two cars are there set up so I can kind of get, again, I like to leave them this way. There's some good suggestions to use, you know, toothpicks and set the cars upright, and that's great. But what I'm trying to do here is simulate like a spray coming up from the bottom. So I don't want it to be like that because it'd be a lot harder, you know, to control it, because I don't really want it on the entire side of the car. So anyway, at least that's my story and I'm sticking to it. So I'm going to start with my Hobby Spray German Field Gray, and I'll try to do this and not hit the tripod and knock things over. And again, the intent of this is quick. I'm not trying to win a contest. We're not trying to do anything real bizarre. Okay. Shake it, don't break it. Getting a little bit low on this can because I use it a lot. I really like it. Okay. For now, oops, I just sprayed my shirt. Get a little bit more, just a touch more here. Okay. Now, before I turn them over, a touch there. Come in with the khaki, US khaki. Just kind of randomly. Good enough. Okay. Now I'm going to let these sit for a moment. Go ahead and pause it. I'm going to let these sit. I'm going to go inside and spray the inside. Probably just with the field gray, just to give it a base of a color. Be right back. That look okay? Okay. So what I did now, I put a 2x3 back here, so I'm going to be spraying, you know, into them. Just to keep the angle. I'm going to come across and hit the insides. I'm not going to go crazy. This will get weathered. I'll get along the sides a little bit. Steel floor will get rusted. That's the wood floor. It'll get painted up. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do to that. Just let it sit for a moment. Okay. Oops. You can tell I'm not professional. But then again, quick, easy weathering. That's what we're going for. Okay. And what I do is, here in the back, turn the spray can upside down and spray it. Oh, keep it clean. Well, you can't see that, but trust me, I'm doing it. Okay. Love these. Love these paints. Alright. Let's get the cars back down in the workshop. Let them dry up. Okay, so here the cars are. Back on the bench. Again, I'm trying this again with my terrible lighting and hobbled setup. But hey, we'll see what happens. So they're both been done. I'll try to show these what they kind of look like. Just with the spray of the German field gray and then a little bit of the khaki. Now that's not terrible. You could almost, if you want to, kind of wanted to stop now, you almost could. It really isn't that bad looking. And a little bit weathered. Again, if you were doing something quick, want to get it on the layout, to me that would be fine. Now we're going to do a little bit more just to have some fun. And this one has the steel floor. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll show something a little bit different on that, just to do it. You could also do this with pigments or with washes, or even something like, pardon my elbow or my arm across, something like this, the dark rust, as kind of as a wash. You could do that as well. But we're going to have a little bit of fun with that car. Here's the Walthers car, again very similar, just with the. Again, I realize the light here isn't great, but not bad. It's just kind of sprayed up from the bottom. Kind of faded the car a little bit. Even the ends. Now I might come back in and, like I said, do the rust wash on the couplers and the ends a little bit. Now this one, with the wood floor, what I'm thinking... Alright, here's how to do this. What I'm going to do is try to come in here and mask the side of the gondola, because I don't want whatever I do here on the floor, which I'm thinking of doing an acrylic wash, some washes to weather the wood. I don't really necessarily want it to get on the side. So just to do, now again, this is going a little bit beyond the, the real quick fleet weathering. For this I could just throw some washes on there and see what happens, but I want to try something different just for a little bit of fun. So that's where we are now. Now I also have to do, or I kind of like to do, in order to help handle them and to not break the brake gears, the brake rigging and the stirrups and all that kind of fun stuff. What I'm going to do is just go ahead and put the trucks on. Again, these are the Andrews trucks with intermountain wheels, just for a little bit of. See, these are a little bit tight, sitting on the bolster there. So all I'm going to do is just kind of come in here real easy, like. I'm not going to go crazy. I just want to take a little bit of material out of here. Just a wee bit. Nothing too bizarre. Just so it fits on there. see, that's still a little bit too snug. I could try to, filer on that, but I find that, rather challenging, at least for me. Just to get in there and not, square it off or something like that. This way I can just kind of keep it round. I'm just going to take a little bit of material out of the ID of the truck. There we go. Now that's got the resistance axle, which is a little bit thicker, so I'm going to flip that way. There we go. Alright. Get that bad boy back on there. Okay. And take the other truck. Let's see how it fits. That's not bad. Nope, you can't see that. That's not too bad. So we're just going to go ahead and get this. Yeah, he says. Alrighty. Okay. So there's the car with the Andrews trucks. Again, they're painted and they got a little bit of the rust on the springs. Okay, so that's the Walthers car. And we'll do the same. Oops, yeah, I have the screws over here for this one. Luckily I didn't lose them. Let's check and see if these are... Yeah, just a slight, tiny bit. So again, just on the X-Acto, on the ID. Oops, sorry. Again, I'm trying to do this so people can see I'm not used to showing what I do. Oh yeah, very nice. Sehr gut. Okay, so, oh great, I just dropped it on the floor. I'm gonna have to pause to find it. I don't want to put you through. Come on. Why are these not being magnetic? They're not. Okay, fine, be that way. My mistake. Oh, there's a little more. There we go. Okay. Stand by, I'll be right back. Okay, I got very, very lucky. It did not bounce too far away. So I didn't have to, use harsh language and try to find the darn thing. See, that side's nice. That's weird. One side's a little tight. The other side is spot on. I don't understand it. But then I don't understand a lot of things. Okay. Yeah, very simply, just get that a little snug going in there. Oh, couple of turns. Eighth of a turn. Okay. Good. Very good. Magnifico. Okay, so there's the car, and like I said, you could leave it like that if you want to. Get it on, it's ready to operate. But that's what we're gonna do. For this one, I'm gonna do a little bit here to rust up the bottom steel. Like I said, for this one, I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna mask the sides and figure out what to do here. So let me give it a pause and we'll be back. But if you wanted to make it a short video and stop here, again, just with the spray, the German field gray on the underframes and coming up the sides a little bit, and then from the top on the insides, then a little bit of the khaki to give it a little bit of road dust. You could stop right here. Put them on a layout, have fun. But we're going to do a little bit more. So again, we're kind of going a little bit beyond the quick and easy to have a little bit more fun. So I'll be right back. Okay, here it is. What I did was use some green tape. I have blue tape, some green tape. I figured the green, I don't know, may show up a little bit better on the video. I don't know. Anyway, it's not perfect. There's still going to be a little bit of bleed through, I'm sure, because it's not as easy as it looks to get that in there right along the floor. I got a couple spots in the corners where it's, I don't know if you can see that, but like over in this corner here. But you know what? We're still going to put a little bit of junk and debris at the bottom so I can cover up anything that might run up the walls. And I always come back with some rust on the inside as well. Okay, so now I need to figure out what I want to do here. I'm not sure. I have looked at some photographs of gondolas. Again, I really wish the photographers back in the 50s would have concentrated on the interiors of gondolas as opposed to, you get a lot of pictures from the ground. Okay, that's great, but I want to see what it looks like in here. I found some. Some are kind of a light, almost to a tannish color. Some are the dark gray. Some are like almost, grungy, grimy, blackish. And it probably depends on what the last load was in the car itself. That's going to dictate what the floor looks like. So I don't have a specific prototype to follow. Maybe I'll just go with some of the grays and see what happens. So, all right, let me get that set up and see if I can pull this off. Okay, let's give this a shot. So what I'm going to try, pardon my hand, and same as last time. I'm going to try this, some of these model color washes just because they're right in front of me. But again, you could certainly use the cheap acrylics from Walmart, from, what are they, Apple Barrel or Cream Code, whatever, I don't know what makes them, but and I got tons of them myself. But so I'm going to try some of the blue gray, which is the 70.905, the dark sea gray, which is the 70.991, the dark blue gray, 70.867, and just for a little bit of fun, I just reached in and grabbed a green brown 70.879 and a khaki gray 70.880. They just sound like good colors. Alright, so I'm going to do, again, this is just kind of this is my palette over here. I'll try to put things so you can see. I realize that it's probably blown out just because it's so white, and I'm trying to make it so you can see other stuff as well. But, and again, I don't care if these mix. These look very, very similar. It might not be a big difference between those two. And then here's the dark blue gray. Here's the dark sea gray. Whoa. This one always seems to be a little more persnickety. Really needs a good. Let's get that out of the way. And throw some down there. Yeah. Okay, again, it's not really critical. It really isn't. And these choice of colors aren't critical. It's just. Okay, and they're all kind of oozing together. I like it. Okay, so now, let's see here. I don't know how well you guys are going to be able to see that, but I'll try to keep it in view. So here's my water. And I don't worry about cleaning in fresh water. I just use whatever I got, to be honest with you. Kind of get the brush thinned out a little bit. Let's start with a little bit of the, I'm going to just let this all kind of mash together here. Okay, I don't necessarily want to paint it. I kind of want it to be sort of a light wash, at least initially. So let's just try that. And again, there's going to be no real rhyme or reason to it. I'm just going to kind of throw it down. Mix in other colors, and again, it's all going to kind of congeal together into some hodgepodge of color, but that's okay. Because what I'm thinking, if I do this, and then maybe come back with some of the acrylic washes later, we'll see how that looks. Because then again, you're going to want to blend all this together. Let's get a little bit of the darker color here. And then just throw it right on top of the tannish colors so that they kind of blend. You can always add water, make it more like a wash, and just really let it kind of go nuts. Again, I don't know if this is right. You can see it, but what I need to do, I need to flip the car so I can get into this. You see that there? Hopefully. Again, I realize the light in this, I hardly, it's a stretch to call this a studio, but okay, I'm going to go with a little bit of darker and some water. Just kind of keep spreading it in the car. Water. Let's mix it all together. What the heck? Let's just have ourselves a little bit of fun here. Alright, so keep that going along the edges. We'll see how well this tape actually works. If it actually does anything. Gonna mash it all together here. Light, dark, up, down, yin, yang. Get in the corner there. Oops, sorry. I realize you can't see that. I'm trying to remember to kind of show what I'm doing here. Okay. Now, is that what a wooden gondola floor would look like? I don't know. Do need to get a little bit more on the edge here. And again, I'm trying to kind of go along the way the boards go. But I do want to make sure I get it into the edge of the boards. Or the edge of the car, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think and talk at the same time, which is very dangerous. Now, not really, it's kind of shiny because it's still kind of wet, but you can see there's a little bit of variation. I don't really like the way this looks. Looks a little bit too painty. I want to come back with a little bit of darker colors. I don't really know why. I'm just a little bit of tan in there. I'm going to put it down because I'm sorry the glare was a little hard to see what I was doing. Not that I know what I'm doing, but you know, we have to keep up our pretenses. Okay, let's got a little bit of variety. Now, is that right? I don't really know. It's going to look, oops, it's going to look a little bit better, I think. And I do believe that, I don't know, I'm kind of liking the tannish, grayish type look. Because I think if I do this, let this dry up, I can always come back, again with the washes, to blend it even more. I guess I'm kind of looking at this as kind of a base color, so to speak. Just to make it look a little bit more like wood as opposed to plastic. I'm not sure how well that shows up, but just mix in a little bit of tan here. I don't know why. I'm just guessing that I should. I really don't know why. Okay. That looks better, I think. Should it be more tan, more dark gray? I honestly don't know. I'm going to come back with a little bit of the lightest. I think this is the blue gray. Because I have a feeling that the cars might kind of fade to that type of color. So I'm just going to come in here with a real light wash almost over the whole car. Why? I don't know. Oops. Try to make it so this is visible. Let it blend with the other colors. to get up here, make sure you get up to the edge. A little bit dab on the brush. Oops. Again, I would imagine that a gondola that's used for, let's say, structural steel loads, machinery, like it will be a little bit, the floor would probably, I'm guessing, look a little bit different than a car that was used for scrap metal. You know what I mean? It kind of depends on the load, I would think, kind of how the floor is going to weather, I would guess, based on the material that's sitting on it or being left in the car. And again, if you're going to do a loaded car, you probably won't have to worry about it as much. Some, because you'll still be able to see. But if I was doing a loaded car, I might not worry about it and just kind of put the load in. Especially if it's a load that's going to cover the whole car, obviously, right? Like a load of steel or something like that might cover most of the car. You know what? All right, I'm just going to stop. Stop right there. So that's a little bit of variety. I don't know how well it shows. Kind of tannish, light grayish. Okay, I'm lying. I'm just thinking it should be a little bit more worn to a light. I don't know why. I'm just picking that for this car. To the blue gray color. I'm just gonna make it more of a blue gray. Why? What do I know? I don't know. Okay, I want to get it into the edge. So I'm along the edge there. Now I can see, or what I'm thinking already after this is to come back with the dark gray wash and again just let it go over the whole base of the car. That'll be eventually, I'll in the next segment, to kind of again hopefully maybe go into the lines in between the wood and fill that in a little bit. But that's I'm gonna stop there. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. If I wanted to, I could probably use some of these colors on the outside of the car. But you know what? I'm pretty happy with the way the outside of the car looks. Again, it's just to do something quick. And then if I was going to really get into it and spend some more time, absolutely. And there's some examples of folks that have done some stuff, gorgeous looking stuff. But again, the intent of this is to make it relatively quick. Now, this is taking some more time, but you have to do something to the floor, especially if it's going to be empty. It just wouldn't be that black shiny. Even faded with some of the spray paint, it still looks too monotone. So, I'm going to let that go. You know what, just for fun. See, I can't stop filling. I'll take a little bit of the real light color and just kind of highlight certain boards. Why, I don't know. Almost full paint on this one. Just kind of. Okay. All right. Stop. You can fiddle forever, but let's let it sit like that. So we're gonna let that one sit, and let me see if I can pull out the other stuff to work on the other gondola. Be right back. Okay, we're gonna have a little bit of fun here. So here's the other Reading. This is the Accurail Reading gondola. And what we're going to try is something that I haven't tried it before. This is a set from Sophisticated Finishes. It's like a rusting set. I think I bought it on Amazon. Although nowadays, good luck getting it at any time. Any quick period of time. But anyway, check on Amazon if you're interested. Sophisticated Finishes. It's a two-part product. You put the iron metallic surfacer on first, usually 2 coats, letting it dry about 12 hours in between. So this is not real fast. Like I said, this is not quick, but I'm showing it just to, I don't know, have fun. So when this dries, then you come back in with the rust antiquing solution, and depending how much you put on, it will it'll start to rust. It takes a little bit of time. It's kind of cool. At least the last time I did it. We'll see how it goes this time. No promises, but so we're gonna give it a shot. Again, this is the little instructions that I got, and you can kind of see on that how it starts with the metallic surfacer, and then you put the rust solution on it, and then it starts to rust up. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to put it just on the base of the car, and some on the sides too. What the heck, we'll have a little bit of fun with this. Give it a good shake. Shake it, don't break it. See, there you go, actually being shaken. Okay. Alright. Okay, he says. I did, like I said, I used this one time before. Oh, now it's not going to come off. Wonderful. Ah, great. Okay. Seems to have stuck to the top of the bottle. Interesting. Okay. Wipe my knife off of that. And drop my knife on the floor. Thank you very much. Okay. So, yeah, it actually looks like grimy black paint. And then you just take it with a brush. You know. And then you just kind of paint it on. I'm not going to go crazy with it. I just want to get it on the base of the car. Again, I'm not real worried if I get some on the sides or get even some chunks. I don't really care about that. Actually, that would be better, I think. And then you just paint it. I know it's probably hard to see because it looks almost exactly the same color as the floor. Again, this is definitely not necessary. You could easily do this with washes, pigments, either with the acrylic wash or an actual kind of a make a wash. Like I said, that dark rust would work fine. But this is just more to show a different type of technique. Definitely not the rapid on the layout quick. But, like I said, we're just having ourselves a little bit of fun here. Okay, so the car base is painted, and you don't have to worry about looking real pretty. And you're not painting your interior house or anything like that. Now what I'm going to do, just for fun, oops, whoa, got way too much on that brush. Just going to come along and just do the side of the car, and I don't know how well it's going to show because I'm trying to make it so you guys can see it as well as so that I can see what I'm brushing on. Like I said, this looks like grimy black, so it's not, for our purposes, you could almost, I don't know why you would, but you could leave it like this. Alright, now again, I'm actually going to let it go like that. Come right along the top of the lip of the car. What the heck. We'll rust this bad boy up, just for fun. Oops. Hold it so people can see it. Okay. Again, you certainly could do this on the outside as well, if you had the desire to do so. on the inside here. Just a little dab more. Get the top edge of the car. So that's the first coat, and again, you can't really, I mean, it is a nice darkish, grimy black color, so there's that. Now, like I said, that has to sit for a while. And, you know, I don't remember how to clean it. Do I clean it with water? I don't know. Let's see what happens. I really don't remember. Yeah, it looks like it. Isn't that terrible? I'm showing you guys stuff, and I don't even know the chemical properties of it. So, we're going to let that sit. It's got to dry. I say 12 hours, and then do another coat. So this will be well, for me, a longer process. For you guys, it'll just be different segments of the video. But we are going to let that sit for a while. Recap that. Set it back there. Let that gondola sit, and then we'll come back. Actually, I'm not going to show you the next coat because it's the same darn thing. When I'm ready to actually put the rust on, then we'll go ahead and show how that works. So, all right, more to come on this Reading Accurail gondola. All right, so I figured I'd just show you this. While this is still drying up on the inside of the Walthers car, I put a little dab of that dark rust, and of course you can't see it, I'm thinning it out here. I'm just going to go ahead and rust up slightly the coupler. And it depends how much you want to do. You can vary this from very, very, very subtle to a bit more if you wish. I'm going to go kind of subtle here. Just for fun, put a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. Again, more. A real light wash. If I can hold this so it's visible. I'm not used to coming in with the brush this way. Just down around the base here. Let's hit that brake wheel a little bit. What the heck? This will be a real subdued wash right across the end of the car. And again, once it dries, tends to be more subdued than it may look when you first put it on. Again, I had the feeling that the Reading kind of served the steel type industry around Philadelphia, Reading, that kind of area. So these cars probably got pretty beat up. That's probably, given my lack of good light, not real easy to see. Just kind of maybe hit with a little bit more color. Just dab it on it. Again, that's really subtle. You don't really see that a lot when you're looking at the car on the layout, especially if you're an operator, because you're more worried about where's the car go? When's the next train coming? Again, do a little bit of a wash here. I don't know if I can get it close enough to... See that? Isn't this exciting? heavier there. That's okay. You can always come back, get some more water. Let it spread out a little bit. Boop, boop, boop. Now, of course, you can come in here with all kinds of different colors and hues and fades, but again, we're trying to make this relatively quick. Again, this is much longer just because of the interior of the car. You can't even read the writing. That's probably the way it would be in real life. Okay, again, just gonna hit the stirrup a little bit. Okay, a bit of a rusty end. Okay. Alright. Again, see how it's kind of drying up. Not looking too bad. Definitely going to want to put some washes on it, I think. Okay, so while that's doing that, again, we're going to just go back to the other car that has the other sophisticated finishes. First metallic coat drying up. And again, I'm just going to hit the coupler. And the coupler pocket. Hit that underneath the car there, a little bit more visible, it seems, on this car. So that's a little bit more paint. Oh boy, I can't manipulate myself and contort my arm so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just painting the coupler box underneath the car. And it's got, of course not, you can't see through my arm. Back in here a little bit. And again, same thing, we'll hit that a little bit. Just for the fun of it. Some water, dilute. Dilute. Again, just doing the coupler pocket. This has got the brake chain coming down here, so we'll hit that up. Like I think I mentioned, sometimes when you do this, since it's paint, you have to go back in and convince the coupler to reopen itself, which is not hard to do. You just wait till it dries up and go back and make sure it springs. A bit on that. We'll do that. You know what? Just for fun. Again, will this be the way it is? I don't know. I can even do this, and you know what? I can even go crazy and put a little bit of the gray in there. Ooh, look at this action. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? Gonna make it a real light, subdued wash here at the end. Why? I do not know. We'll just say this car faded a little bit here at the end. I don't know how it's gonna look when it dries. We'll have to wait and see. But we're going to be consistent. I'm going to take a little bit of that down in here, a little bit of rust. I don't know why I'm doing this, I'm just kind of playing now more than anything. A little bit more rust, or more little. Oh my goodness! Mistakes were made. Nah, you can't make a mistake when you're weathering. Like I said, you can always add more water and then dry the brush off and come back in, and it will pick up some of the excess. I'm just going to let that kind of sit there on the rib and see what... No, okay, I'll take some out. What the heck. Alright. I took most of what I did away. let that dry. We'll see what it looks like at the end. Again, it's going to dry a little bit different. It never looks exactly the same when it's drying. Usually it tends to dry and it looks a little bit more subdued. Because I used to panic sometimes and say, oh, but then it dries like, that's not too bad. Alright, enough playing. So we're going to let that one sit. Let the other one sit. Clean our brush and we'll be back in a little bit. Okay, we're back. So this car, this is the Walthers car, has the interior deck from yesterday's activity stained. Again, I don't know how well it's going to show, but it to me it looks better. There's some variation, not a whole lot, but you can definitely see it's darker gray, some lighter gray spots. Again, kind of as a base to that. You know, if you wanted to leave it like that, you could just do what we did yesterday and put it back in the layout and get operating. So let me see if I can adjust the light a little bit here. Yeah. You know, it's really hard to get lights that make it conducive to video. I mean, it's great for working. I can see fine. Oop, I hit my water. Okay, so now that's what we're going to do. I got my brushes, I got my water, and I have some of the washes I'm going to use. Again, the blue-gray, one of my favorites. The dark gray, and the desert tan, just for a little bit of fun. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is put a coat of the dark gray down. Again, that's to kind of give it a... It'll be dark, I know that. I want it to kind of go in between the boards, hopefully kind of bring that out a little bit. So I'm going to take the dark gray with this brush here and kind of go into it. Why can't I get rid of that shadow? What's causing that shadow there? Sorry about that. See if I move it. What if I turn the light? Let's see. Well, can I eliminate? Oh, I bet it's from the side of the car. Duh. Okay, so you can't fool me. Okay, get some of the. I'm just gonna go in here, and again, it's gonna look crazy when you first do it. Again, you can always dilute it a little bit with some water. That's what I'm gonna do. That's gonna go up on the sides, but I'm not too worried about that. I actually do the. We can't do the patented 360 roll on this one, I don't think. But again, just kind of get it in there. Water. And this is just to kind of tune down the deck. Okay. Alright, now I don't know if you can see, but there is some stuff in the corners, or on the edges. So what I'm going to do is just come back with the brush, boop, and that picks it right up. Dry the brush. And I'll pick up the excess along the edge of the car. And since it did come up the side, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of spread it along the side, just because. It's got, I probably won't be able to show it, but it's got a little bit here at the end, very similar. So I'm just going to come in with the brush, take that off. I even got some on the top. Okay, well, we'll just rub you along there. Fine, be that way. Okay, so we're going to turn the car. Now here, I kind of missed this corner in here, so I'm going to come in with the brush, pick it up, and kind of transplant it down there to the end. Okay. Dry the brush off. Oops. Get it out of there. And again, same thing. Kind of come along and just kind of get the side of the car. One thing you may be wondering, hey, it's a gondola. Why don't you do some damage to the sides? And I thought, yep, I've thought of that. And in my experience, I've not had much luck with that. I've seen articles, I know people taking soldering irons and butane torches and oxyacetylene torches, and tried to bring the soldering iron in and deform the side. But to me, it never looks right. I think part of the reason is because a lot of these kits, the gondola sides are probably, to be honest, way too thick to be prototypical. And to me, it just doesn't look right. Yeah, you can do it. You can try. I've seen it before. I've seen some ones that look pretty good. But again, I've tried it, and it never looked good, so I don't really worry about it, to be totally honest with you. It's just not something I'm too concerned with. But yes, that's something you could try, certainly, if you were so inclined. All right, so that's got the wash of the dark gray. I'm just trying to lean in here and see if it's kind of getting into in between the lines. You can come back in and selectively put some darker spots, because again, it looks crazy when you first do it. You think it's too dark, but once it dries up, it really does fade. So there isn't a need to panic. I certainly didn't. Even now, I'm like, look at that. It's like, oh, it's too dark. It's going to look terrible. But trust me, it's going to fade once it dries up. And I'm just going to come back in here and try to get a little bit more in between the boards. Again, it's not critical because we're going to kind of junk the floor up as well. So it's not the end of the world if it's not exactly what I was hoping for. But that's a little bit better. And again, excuse me, you do need to ideally have a good prototype photo. And I'm just kind of winging it here. Go back through that. Let that sit. Okay, I'll leave that end alone, so to speak. Why? I don't know. Just because. There's still a little bit here along the edge, but again, that's not a big deal. And you can come in with the brush and pick up the excess. There's some there at the end, which of course if I do that you won't see anything. I don't know if you can get your hand out of the way. Right along there at the end. But again, you kind of can come in with the... Just going to spread it up there a little bit. Because we're going to rust the sides up a touch. Now, if you wanted to, you could certainly do some stuff on the sides as well. If you want to add some different rust on the side. I might do some of the dust just for fun on the side. That could be interesting. So we'll see. All right. Here I'm kind of drying as well as kind of bringing some up along the sides, just for the fun of it. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, what I'm going to do is, let's see if you can see how that looks. I know I don't have the greatest light, and that gets too glary. I can't win either. It's too dark or too glary. You can see as it's starting to fade already. So I'm just going to let this car sit. I'm going to let this layer kind of set, and then what we're going to do, this car has got the two coats of let me clean these washes out of the way for a moment. Pardon me whilst I clean up my workbench. Okay. So this is the Accurail car. It has 2 coats that have dried for over, I remembered it was actually the second coat of this. You don't have to wait 12 hours in between them. They want you to wait 12 hours after the second coat. So I let it dry for about 4 hours or so. Came back in, put a second coat of the iron metallic surfacer. And now what we're going to do is put on the rust solution, the rust antiquing solution. So let me get set up for that, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back, so we're going to give it a whirl here. So again, we're going to take the antiquing solution, and again it says, you know, apply the 2 coats, wait 12 hours after the first coat of, you can't see what I'm tapping the iron metallic surfacer. And now we apply this with a brush, let it sit, and you can apply additional coats. It'll kind of get rustier the more you put on. So what we're going to do is shake our antiquing solution, and this is just a blue looking liquid. And now we'll take our other brush here, and I'm just going to put it on the car. And this won't show right away. We're going to have to kind of let it sit for a while. But again, you just take this, and then I'm just going to brush it on the bottom of the car. Of course, it depends how heavy you do. You might want to put some spots heavier than others. Just keep dipping it and just kind of brush it on there. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but it's kind of a, probably you can see from the shine. Now, see, nothing happens right away, and it doesn't. It won't do it instantly. So now with a little bit less, I'll come across the side, maybe not do everything. Just kind of hit some of the ridges here on the end of the car on that side, and then do something similar. So I missed a spot in the corner, that's fine. And then again here, and then what I'll do, again, not quite as much. I'm just going to let this brush kind of go dry. Just, oops, sorry, you can't see what I'm trying to. I'm just kind of brushing the side. Because again, you can, seriously, you can come back and do more. And then just brush the side. Kind of picking up what's kind of laying there along the edge. The seam, so to speak, between the bottom and the side. Okay. Again, let that go. I'm going to come along. Same brush. I'm not adding much more, because I don't want it to be too intense here on the top, but it will. Let me just pick up a little bit from the edges here, and then just kind of brush it along the top lip of the car, because I did put the metallic solution there. Okay, for now, it's going to stop there. We'll see what that looks like. Now, again, I assume I clean with water. I just popped it in the water. We'll see what happens. So again, you see nothing, right? Nothing. I know. Well, I can see it just starting. It's probably really hard to see on the video. I don't know if you can see a couple slight shades of rust starting to kick up. So now what I'll do, I won't sit here. You want to sit here and watch it go? Okay, we'll sit here for hours and watch it. No, I'm just kidding. We'll pause here. We'll come back when I see it have some rust, and we'll see what it looks like. Probably a couple hours. So go ahead and get a cup of coffee or a other isolation beverage of your choice. Come on back, and we'll see how it looks in a little bit. Okay, we're back. So the first coat, the first slather of the dark gray is in there, and I realize it's a challenge again with my lighting, but it is in between the boards a little bit. So that's kind of what I want to accomplish, and you can see how it kind of faded. It darkened things a little bit, but not terribly. So okay, so now let's have a little bit of fun. So now, what I think we're going to try is some of the blue-gray and the desert dust. Let's see what kind of shenanigans we can create here. Put that away. Not away, but... Okay, so we're going to try the blue-gray and the desert dust. Alright. Where'd my brushes go? There they are. I thought I lost them. Alright, so blue-gray. Alright, let's see here. A little bit of blue-gray. What's that going to look like? It already is kind of a blue-gray color, so it's not... I don't think this is going to do much, to be honest. Let's try a little bit of fun here. This is going to add a little bit of a different fade type. Let's see if I get down in here. Along in here. And again, I'm not going to worry too terribly much because we are going to come back and do some stuff on the floor. Let me go all the way to the bottom, get some of the chunkier stuff here. Maybe I won't. Let's see if I can find some. Again, this is some of the sediment that kind of sits on the bottom. If you get some of it, you can... I don't seem to be getting much of it. Maybe I got a little bit better shaking. Gotta rinse the brush a wee bit here. Oh, there it is. Sorry, I needed my handy dandy paper towel. Now let me try. Let me see. Can I get some of the? Oh, here we go. Oh boy. Oh man, we're getting serious now. It's kind of blending in. It's going to fade a little bit. Again, if I have a little bit too much here along the edge, just kind of come in with the brush. It'll pick it up. Interesting. Let's see here. Now this is kind of fading it to more of a lighter color, which I'm not saying is wrong. Look at that. That's going to cause people to freak. Get a little bit of water. Yowza. Okay, interesting. Now, let me try to add in a little bit of the blue-gray, just to kind of cut this and kind of give it a different feel. It's still going to be light, no doubt about it, because there's a lot of the desert dust in there. Now, that could just mean that this car had a load of, I don't know, what would have those light? I'm not saying sand or anything like that, but maybe something, maybe some scrap that was what kind of material would be more of a, what kind of material would cause the floor to kind of fade to a more tannish, yellowish color? I do not know. I'm not smart enough to figure that stuff out. Again, dry the brush. Just kind of come come in here and let this soak it up. A little bit of that on the side, just for good measure. That'll create some interesting patterns there. Okay. That's kind of cool. I don't dislike it. Now, for a little bit of fun, let's see here. What can we do? La, 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 la. I'm playing the piano of weathering. Do, 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 do. All right, let's see. How about a dark green? What would that look like? Do I have any other fun colors up there in the top? No, let me just... So be careful, I don't want to spill these. (7.6.512) dark green. Ooh, this could be risky. Oh, of course, let's use this brush. Let's see here. Get it in there and get it all juiced up. It's all over the side of the brush. Let me just do this here. Ooh, that's a neat little blend. Get a little water here. It's probably hard to see. It's kind of blending in with the yellow. Now again, if you want to go back and say that's too much green, don't panic. Just come touch some of the yellow there at the end. That'll kind of cut some of that back. Even let it sit in the boards a little bit. See how it dries. And you can always go back to the blue-gray again. There's no real rhyme or reason to this. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of having fun. Now, you probably shouldn't do this and, mix the colors, but whatever. In the bottle like that, but... Interesting shades. Again, that's... No, I don't know what this car is. I'm going to figure out what this car was carrying. Okay, now just to check. Oh yeah, we got a bunch down here in this corner. So I'm just going to come in with the brush and pick it up. Again, you don't have to. It's going to dry. It's going to be honest, most of this tends to evaporate away. Now, I think what I want to try along the sides. All right, so that was a little bit of an experiment there with the dark green. Let the verdict still be out on that. Let me go with some of the dark rust, 76.507. That's the stainless steel BB I put in the bottom, if you heard that rattle. You're going, what in the world is that? So now, let's see here. Let's just, again, I'm trying to make it so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm just going to rub this. I love the reference to Bob Ross. I'm just going to rub it in here. Make a pretty little tree. Just a nice gentle tree. Little bit of rust. Just rust the side of the car. There we go. Now let's turn the car over. Okay, that's enough of that. Again, I'm just, of course you can't see. Sorry about that. Need to remember the camera's at a different angle. This is just put kind of a rusty hue to the side of the car. And then I'll do it here. I can hold it so you can see. Okay, not real heavy, just a little bit there. And I'm going to have to see how this looks when it dries. Because again, it's kind of hard to tell initially. Oops. Although you can see the end there. That's the kind of a little bit of how the rust looks when I did it with that Vallejo paint. You can kind of see how that set up there. Okay, so got the sides. Let me rub it a little bit across the top. Just a little bit. We'll see what that looks like. Yeah, too glary. Probably hard to tell. Looking good. I like the way that rust is kind of drying on the sides of the car. Just give it a little bit of a rust look. I wonder if we should do something on the side. What do you think? Should we try to rust a couple of these panels up with this and just see what it looks like? Just for the fun of it? Or maybe this. I wonder what this would look like. It's kind of risky. I don't know. Ah, come on. We gotta have a little bit of fun. Let's see what it looks like. That's gonna look more like a stain than a... Let's say this one panel here. Didn't get much. Let me see if I can get a little bit more of the... See, it's kind of mixed in there with the rust. In fact, what I wanted to try was to get some of that yeller on it. Oh boy. This will be interesting. The brush is still too wet. Alright, we'll do one more panel. Just for the fun of it. You know, like something kind of stained this end of the car. What? I do not really know. Again, we'll kind of take it out of the... ribs there. A little excess. It's going to kind of gather around the cast-on rivets. Alright, I'm just going to leave that sit. Just how they see how these panels are going to look. It'll fade a little bit. Don't know if that was a success or not. We'll find out. Okay. So, I'm thinking. Don't know how well that shows. Again, I'm looking here. See, I'm cheating. See what I'm doing here? I'm going to just show you this, just so you think I'm not a total nincompoop. You see, I have my little, oops. See my cell phone over there? So I can remotely monitor. See me pointing. No. Okay, anyway. That way, again, I'm trying to make it so this is visible. A little bit of delay on that. That's going through the wireless. Okay. I don't know why I showed you that. I just, who knows. Okay, you know what? I wonder. I can't help but wonder. Take a little bit of the yellow. At the same end where we did those panels, again, maybe they were, doing something and something kind of spilled when they were working it and it stained for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it's stained down here a little bit. I mean, make it a little bit speckled, like something was going on around here. What's going on? Okay, so what I did there was just kind of, we'll see how that dries. And again, it looks worse now, but it's gonna fade a little bit when it dries. Okay. Now, I'm kind of happy with that. And again, if you wanted to, you could leave it like this. But now, I'm going to let it sit for a little bit. But I want to come back and put some, I don't know, chains and dunnage and junk and wires and stuff on the bottom of the car and some grit and stuff. Just again, I don't just to have a little bit of fun. So let me go into my box of rocks and see what I can pull out to put in the bottom of the car. Be right back. Alright, so here's the first about 2.5, 3 hours after the rust solution was put on. So you can see how that's kind of looking there. Didn't get everywhere, didn't get along the sides very much. Didn't get at that end. Got a little bit at this end here. If that's visible. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just come back in with some more of the solution. And give it a shot. Take our brush. Just take some more. Kind of go where it. You want to get a little bit more. Leave it on maybe a little bit heavy. There in the corner. And along here. I'm going to try to come along the side. A little bit heavier. Because I have a feeling I know what this car is hauling. And the reason I say that is because I have an idea. I may want to have this be a loaded car. So I found some pieces in a scrap box that I was looking at. I was like, wait a minute. They might make a pretty cool looking load. So more to come on that. We'll see. That might be a little bonus extra if I decide to actually model both these cars as loaded cars. Alright, we'll see. So I got the edge, and then I'm going to come over here. And I'm going to come along the side again. Looks like a light brush, you know, kind of a dry brush, didn't do much at all. So I'm going to come in a little bit heavier here and see what we get. And that's going to let it flow into the car. Down at the ends. Okay. I'm going to leave that big spot there in the center because I kind of like the way that looks. So we'll just kind of let that randomly sit like that. Come in with some more. Get in here. Get out. Paint it on. Now this might go crazy now. You know what? Oh, heck with it. Let's go right over it. Okay. So now again, we gotta let it sit for a while. So put that away. And again now that's kind of painted over, we'll come back in a little bit and see what happens. Again, last time it took about 2.5 hours until I started to see some. Well, I started to see some activity a little bit earlier, but it certainly took a while. I'm not sure how long this will take now that it's kind of the second coat. But all right, we'll be back. We'll be back when we see how this looks. Okay, so here's how this car is looking. Not bad. And again, I think I'm gonna make this. I have an idea for a load on actually both the cars. So what I'm gonna do along the side there, yeah, that did kind of rust it up, but I want to do something like that. I like the way that looks there at the end when I did a wash of the dark rust. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try it. I'm going to come in here, just put a little dab on my palette. Certainly don't need a lot. And then I'm going to take a little bit wider brush in the car and the palette. And some more water. Again, trying to make that into a nice wash. And then just let it wash right along the side. I'm going to kind of tilt it. That's going to be hard to see, but I'm going to tilt it so Hopefully it kind of runs out of the car, not in the car. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? I realize you can't see in the world I'm doing, but I'm kind of tilting it down and then brushing it along the side. Now some still going to get on the ground, which is okay, you know, because we'll let a little bit of that rust, like it kind of, you know, ran into the car. Gonna get the end as well, and then get this end. Then come along here. I'm sorry, I can't really show this, but just go along the inside of the car. Okay. Gonna let it sit like that. That might give it a nice, dark, rusty type color. And maybe even just come along here as well, just for the heck of it. Okay, looks pretty extreme right now, but we'll see how that all dries up. And again, right here, where's the side that I did? Oh, here it is. Remember we did that little bit of yellowness there at the end? See how that kind of, I like that. That kind of looks, you know, just a little bit of weathering there on the end of the car. You know why it did that? I don't know. But I actually think it looks kind of good. And it kind of, it's just these three panels here, and it kind of blends in a little bit. But then again, if you want to go crazy, you can, let's say on this side of the car. Again, we're just playing now. Gonna get a pretty wet brush. A little bit of this. I'm just gonna touch up the brake reservoir. A little bit of rust on that. Maybe a little bit of rust along the bottom here. Maybe here across the D. Because you know how D's are. Evil, evil D's and I's. I's and D's are bad letters. And then really, really light. Like it kind of fades into this panel. Almost nothing. Let it accumulate there at the bottom a little bit. So this is going to look a little different because this is a actual acrylic paint, not the wash. So we'll see how this winds up. Again, this is more just playing here. Can take it back out with the brush. And we'll see how that dries up and see what it looks like. Again, just some different patterns. We get a little bit heavier on the brush, just for fun. You can kind of speckle it. We'll see what that looks like here. Might be too much, but we'll see how this dries. Again, this is all really just more experimentation than anything. Water. I have no idea what it's going to look like. More experimentation than anything. I don't know what that's going to look like, but have a little bit of consistency, and assuming this car would get beat up kind of the same on both sides. don't know about this. We'll see. Why, he just ruined the car. Alright, let's let that dry up and see. Well, alright. Now on the inside here, we're going to let that wash set up. And then I might not do a whole lot more, only because, like I said, if I am going to put a load in this car, I don't know that I have to do a whole lot more. It's gonna hide a lot of the floor. If it was going to be an empty car, I might go ahead and do a little bit more. Now I'm just taking the brush to get some of that wash out of the in-between edge there, between the floor and the side. Let's get that brake wheel a little bit just for fun. Brake wheel feels lonely. He's like, hey man, you're ignoring me. Okay, alright. Good enough. Let that set, and then we'll come back and see see if this magic trick looks okay. Okay, we're back. Alright, so here's what we're going to do here. I'm going to wrap these cars up right now, because what I've decided to do is make a load for each car. It's kind of it's a set, since they're both Reading cars, they're both going to be loaded, they're both going to be running together in a freight train. So I said, you know what, here's what I'm going to do. Since I need to get the loads built, and I know what I'm going to do, I'm just waiting for them to, a little preliminary work, a little teaser. I'll make a video of it too. What the heck. So I don't want to do too much to the floors of the cars, because I don't want it to interfere with the loads. So once I have them built, and I'm going to make them removable, I can have them in, and I can set them in, and I'll kind of see how things look, and then I'll come back in and maybe add some other debris on the bottom of the car, in between dunnage and whatnot, so when the loads come out and the car is empty, you know, it's more than just a plain, you know, nothing in the car, which is just, to me, not realistic. So, okay, so this car, like I said, is pretty much done. You can see, if you can see that, how that, I don't know. I'm not sure I should have done that, but that's the way that wash of the rust, which was a diluted of the Panzer Aces 302 dark rust. I'm not too sure about that. But, you know, okay, it's a gondola, so whatever. I think it's alright. And then on this side, again, I did a little bit over. Oop, it'd be helpful if it was in the freaking, where you could see it, perhaps. Did a little bit over there, and some things like that. And then on the inside of this car, what I'm doing is I'm coming back. You probably can see I have medium rust and light rust. These are my ammo of MIG pigments. And I'm just touching up the inside a little tiny bit, just to give it a little bit more color. The wash didn't do exactly what I wanted, so I'm just going to come in here to give it a little bit of a rust color. Again, not real serious, just to make it something a little bit more visual. And I'm using this old beat up brush that I think I got at Walmart at some point in time. I assume you can still get them at Walmart if you're allowed in. I see now, this is I'm doing this on April 4th, and I see Walmart and several other retailers are going to be limited in the number of people going to the stores. I also saw that KD out in Oregon is closed, so I don't know now if there'll be a huge rush on KD couplers. We shall see. Very, very interesting times. So I'm going to come back with a little bit of the, just a touch. It might be a little bit too much. And just kind of put some patterns there. Oop, of course, you can't see. This is hard to get the right angle. So I got a little bit on the floor, so I'm just going to literally shake it out onto the bench. see there's some rust spots in there, so I'm just going to kind of, you know, make it look like things have banged the side of the car at some point. Okay. That's fine. Just to give it some variety. Try to blend this in a little bit here. Okay, that's fine. Alright. So that's what the car looks like. So I will try to get some still photographs of this. So I'm gonna call this car done. Inside, outside for now. Probably come back, do a little bit more work on the floor once I get the load figured out. And then on this car, let me move the pigments. Alright, so here's after the second layer of the rusting solution. You can see how that, I like the way that looks. You can see how that looks even along the side of the car. Even the, don't know how well that'll show, the ends of the car. I can't tell if I'm in the center, if it's focusing. I like it. And that end of the car again. Okay, it's got a neat little color pattern up there too in the corner. I like the way that looks. Alright, so same thing. I'm going to kind of stop because once I get the load figured out, I'll do some more. But I want to do a little bit more on the outside, and I don't really know what. So I'm just going to sit here and think and do something. You guys, I have no idea what I'm doing. You guys are just going to watch, and well, you don't have to watch. But I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to just grab some stuff and try something here. Let me see what a little bit of this rust looks like. This is a little bit brighter than I usually tend to use. Again, I don't want to do a whole lot more, just a little bit. I want to get a little bit of variety on the car. And you can spend all kinds of time coming in here doing individual rust spots and using enamels and then getting some thinner and having it run. That cool stuff. But again, although we're getting longer here, the intent was to make this, like I said, quick weathering. And it's got a little bit of variety on it. Like it's just got a little bit of surface rust there starting in there. Okay, now just I'm gonna get some of the darker track rust. Track, not railroad track. This means I'm pretty sure it means armored vehicle tracks, but that's okay. It's a good dark rust color. Get some out. Get it in the lid here, and this might just help kind of pull all this together. Real lightly. I'm just gonna kind of hit this. Getting hard to read the road number on this. I think once it gets back to the Reading shops, they're going to want to come in there and repaint the reporting marks. Alright, that kind of adds a little bit of subdued rust to the car. I'm not going to worry more about the interior. That's kind of got that faded. I remember way back I did that wash, a little bit of the faded stuff. What could do on the end of the car? What could be fun to try on that? I'm going to try a little bit of the dark rust. It's a little more subdued. Kind of blends a little bit better with the side. I gotta be careful here. I don't want to break the brake wheel. I don't want to break the brake wheel. Careful, very careful. Sorry, you can't even see what's going on. A little more down here by the tracks. Okay. Alright, let's look at starting to rust up. Now, I didn't do anything on this side. Maybe just for a little bit of consistency. Real lightly, just kind of come in here and just get a little tiny bit on the panels. That makes both sides somewhat similar. Just kind of a faded, rusty car. And not all cars are like this. You could have stopped and not done this. That's fine. Would have looked perfectly acceptable. Now, some folks have asked, do you normally, put a matte varnish sealer when you put the pigments on it? I tend not to. Now, I certainly could. It does tend to subdue it a little bit, give it a spray of dull coat or something like that. Especially if the car's going to be handled a lot, you may want to, but most of the time, we aren't handling the cars that much. Okay. I'm going to call that soup. If you're not careful, you can fiddle around forever, but alright. A little bit of the pigments. If I'm right in the center, I can't really see if that's focusing all that great. Okay. And the interior. I do like the way that looked. It definitely gives like an older type rust than some of the the pigments would have done other washes. So I like it. So alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and stop there and say that these two cars, these two gondolas, are complete. Well, they're not, but they are, but you know what I mean. Since I'm going to work on the load, going to go ahead and we'll get this video posted. Try to get a couple pictures here at the end. And then the next video I do, or one shortly after this, will be the loads, because I will come back in then and finish up the interiors of the car. So, all right, that's that. Again, hopefully it was interesting. I have no idea how long this video is. I haven't done a whole lot of post yet. Probably way too long. But anyway, you expect that from me. So there you go. All right, more to come. Thanks for watching. Hope everyone's doing good out there. Staying safe, staying healthy, staying isolated, I guess. And hopefully this blows over soon. It's really getting annoying. A lot of things get, anyway, just things getting canceled and things we want to do. My son's getting rammy being at home all this time. He's being good though. He's hanging in there. He's trying to follow the instructions and stay home, but it's getting hard on all of us. So anyway, everyone do stay safe, and we'll be back. The next video, or one of the videos coming up, will be a normal update, because I am doing some work on the layout itself, as well as getting the loads installed on these cars. Okay, thanks everybody. Be safe.